the first Bassmaster Elite Series event at the St. Johns River. Are you ready?
Hey, welcome to the channel. My name is Alan. This is Cast of Life. On today's episode, I want to talk a little bit about the Bassmaster Elite Series event that's taking place this weekend down in Florida on the St. Johns River. Just jumping right into it here. This tournament is going to be a strictly pre-spawn event. And the reason that I believe that is because the weather conditions down there right now are just only favorable for that, in my opinion. You're looking at 60-degree weather. It is not warm by Florida standards. The water temperatures, again, probably mid-50s. There is nothing that says, hey, these fish are going to be on the beds. So consequently, I think that the weights are going to be a little bit down for this one as well, much like I said last week at the Open Series event in Kissimmee. So I look for this to be a very similar tournament as far as weights go, maybe a little bit bigger here than there. I'm putting my top 10 weight limit probably around that 17 pounds per day. I think it will probably take 51 pounds to be in that top 10 going into the final day. I think to make the top 50 cut, though, you can probably do that with 20, 21, 22 pounds. I think will make the top 50 in this event. But the higher up that leaderboard you go, of course, the bigger the weights are going to get naturally. But I think they're going to need to be proportionally bigger as well over what it would take to just make the first cut. So I'm looking at 51 pounds going into the final day, and I think 21 pounds on that first cut down to 50 should make it. So we'll see how those predictions hold up. Now, I did join the Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing League. Andrew Upshaw, who is one of the Bassmaster Opens pros, he has a YouTube channel. I'm sure some of you guys watch that YouTube channel. It's fantastic. If you don't, go check out Andrew Upshaw. He and Todd Castledine and Matt Pangrak and Bradley Hallman have all joined a group called Open Pros Pick'em on the Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing Challenge. And I went ahead and joined that group. He put out the invitation to all of his YouTube followers to join that group, and so that is what I did. I think it's going to be a fantastic time, though. I'm looking forward to seeing those guys kind of cover what's going on as well, and kind of hearing their thoughts on it. I do have my 5 guys that I've picked. I'll go by the group that they're in and tell you who I picked out of each group. So to start off with, like I said, I think forward-facing sonar is going to be a big deal in this tournament. I think shell beds are going to be a big deal in this tournament. Being able to use your electronics effectively according to the conditions. And so that all points in the direction of Patrick Walters out of Group A there. So that was my Group A pick. Out of Group B, when you're talking shell beds and you're talking offshore structure, I think TVA lakes. Of course, I'm here in Tennessee, so I would think that. But when you're talking shell beds and offshore and pre-spawn and all of those things kind of combined together, I think out of Group B, I have a hard time not picking Gerald Swindle in that situation. The G-Man, I think, is going to put in a big weight and do well in this tournament, just based upon that. Out of Group C, this is where I kind of went local, semi-local. I think Scott Martin is going to come out, into this tournament with a good head on his shoulders and ready to do some damage. So I did pick Scott Martin out of Group C. Group D, there's a local boy in there, a local hammer, Cliff Prince, and right there in Palatka, he ought to be able to put a blindfold on and drive to the fish, right? So out of Group D, I picked Cliff Prince. And then to round it out, Group E, Gainesville, Florida, pro Bernie Schultz, for much of the same reasons as the rest of the guys. I think it's just set up for those guys to do well. And so those are my 5 picks for Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing this week. Let me know down in the comments what your picks are. If you're part of fantasy fishing, let's talk about that. We can throw ideas back and forth in the comments, and we can have a good discussion on that. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. It is a newer channel, and I would really appreciate the support. Thank you so much, and y'all have a great weekend. Appreciate it.